Started recording, so that everyone know. Yep.
I saw it. I drove out the other day.
I call the meeting of the Arts and Culture Committee to order on November 13th. It is 6:00 PM. We are recording. And our first item on the agenda is citizen comments. Do we have any citizens present tonight? We do not, so we will move on to our next item. We need to consider approval of the October 9th, 2024 meeting minutes, and then we will take appropriate action. You have a copy of those minutes in your packet. You'll take a moment to review them. They were also sent to you by email. I do need, for the purpose of this meeting, I need to make Chris McGuire a voting member tonight because we have 2 voting members not present. So for the purposes of this meeting, you will need to vote.
So I have all kinds of power now.
Don't let it go to your head.
Always nice for the things.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
A second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Briefly, I mentioned real quick that the minutes were sent out by email. Just a gentle reminder to everyone, be careful to reply only to the sender. If you reply all, it violates the Open Meetings Act, and we need to be very cautious about that. So reply only to the sender, please. Yes.
Put everybody's name in blind carbon copy. BCC line. Then if we, because people make mistakes. So if we're all in the BCC, then we can't reply to each other.
Okay.
That's how it's sent out.
Is there any, I mean, unless there's a,
It's how it's sent out as a blank copy.
it can be? Okay.
It is.
Oh, it is. Oh,
Yes.
okay, then, okay. Gotcha. I didn't know if there was a, like a thing that you could do that.
All right. Are we ready to move on to our next agenda item? Receive and discuss the Arts and Culture Committee's plan of work goals for fiscal year 2024-2025 and take appropriate action.
And I'll speak a little bit on this. So in front of you, you have 2 sets of plan of work. One is, so I broke it up from the subcommittees that we talked about last time that we didn't vote on it, but we agreed on them. And what I did was I took everyone who sent in their information in advance. I was able to kind of combine your goals and put who was interested in that committee. And then there's a separate paper here that is David's. I didn't have time to get his on this, but I will do that, or we can decide together. So thank you, David, for sending in yours. No, we just appreciate you getting it in. Several people didn't respond, and that's okay too. It's okay. I thought we can go through them for the subcommittees that we talked about and decide if these are the goals that you want. And how many people. The other thing that I did find out, and as it is on the memo, let me just make sure. My memo here. Give me 1 second. The meeting. And we can talk about it, that once we decide on if we do go ahead with the names and descriptions of the subcommittees proposed, that, a subcommittee may have no more than 3 arts and culture committee members. So it has to be less members of the committee board on the subcommittee, less that makes up a quorum. So it says a subcommittee may have no more than 3 arts and culture committee members as to not violate the Open Meetings Act. Non-arts and culture committee members may serve on an arts and culture subcommittee as well. So you can have 10 non-members, but you only can have up to 3 because our quorum is 4. So it has to, for a regular committee, so it has to be less than that. So I think you all can decide if you want 2, 3, because some people, sent in for all 5 that want to be on it, and then and we'll go through them. So does everyone have their one paper here in front? So, artist outreach. So Amy, Chris S, and Rita, and David, which is separate, but if you read the goals, these were the goals that I kind of put together. So, and next to each name in the notes, I put, this was Amy's, goal, one of her first goals, and I kind of combined them as I thought kind of went together, and then you can come up with exactly how you want to title the goal, or is it obtainable, and if it's something you want to do. So, how would you like to proceed with this? Do we want to read each one?
Here's my quick question.
Okay.
Are we codifying the goals tonight, or are we deciding on the subcommittees and then who will then serve on them?
I think the latter. Deciding, we're codifying the subcommittees themselves and then who's gonna be on which one. And then the subcommittee.
Because
The,
Yes, my opinion would be once we decide who's on the subcommittees, then it would be their responsibility to determine
What's the
scope of
goals?
work. Yes.
Okay,
Does that seem appropriate?
it seems appropriate.
I understand it pushes us a little bit, but
It's up to you all, and if all of these are action items tonight, and we did that just in case. So to allow for, first, one, are these the 5 subcommittees that you want? And Perla will have something to add to that.
Yeah, so I'm probably gonna ask for a special session because we got a subcommittee nominated to us by council, and that's the Globe Multicultural. So if you guys don't want to decide, you can decide on the special meeting that we're gonna have in December. Adding this as a subcommittee and nominating at that. So you guys have a given point in time today or at the special session that we're gonna be holding in December for the multicultural subcommittee event.
I think it makes the most sense to decide on the other committees and then who's on them, and then those committees decide on the goals.
Good.
So one quick question, I was looking through my notes and we had actually 6 of them, because we talked about separating arts and culture festivals and contests into 2 separate ones.
Incorrect.
Okay.
It was, contest could be under any of the
Subcategories.
subcommittees, depending on what the contest was and what subcommittee would fall under. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the way I understood it.
Correct.
Okay.
As the discussion went on, that's what we decided, and that way it didn't fall on one specific group to host all contests.
Yes, because like electrical boxes was given as the example, like we had it under festival and contest, but it's also art and public spaces, so.
Correct.
It can move around.
So I'm just gonna review, I'm seeing, artist outreach, art and culture festivals, art and culture in public spaces, sister cities, strategic planning,
That's the 5.
Yep.
Are we comfortable with those 5? Do we need to vote on these or are 5? Do we need to make a motion? Do we need to move that
Add a
these are our
question.
5 subcommittees?
I appreciate the work you did to consolidate our responses. I'll be transparent. I had struggled with getting the documents to work and submitted. So if there's another one I also wanted to participate in, should we bring that up first before we vote?
Yes.
Or, okay,
Yes. I think now is your moment.
all right, I would also like to, I'd also like to participate in art in public spaces if that's okay with,
Yes, well, and we'll go through, I think the first thing, okay, so if that's an existing
It is.
one, then I think we need to go through and decide that these are our 5, and then we're gonna have to go back and re-decide who's on these because we've got too many committee members. So a lot of these we're gonna have to back out of. So step number 1, let's go ahead and move that these are our committees and vote on that.
Correct. I think that's a good plan.
all right?
Now, do we want to add,
We want to just go ahead and.
We need to
add the
Yeah.
6th one, or do we want to
Because
wait
it
till?
wasn't posted.
Oh,
in
that's right.
72-hour
Oh,
open
okay.
meeting.
That's right.
We have to have a special session, sorry.
Okay.
No,
I just want
no.
to see everybody
What was
with more
it?
time in December.
Sounds great.
No, that's exactly right.
No, that was, in council study session, but we didn't, it
What's
was,
it called?
multicultural.
Oh,
The event that we're gonna be holding, what is it, March 29th? It's gonna be held. But yeah, it wasn't on the agenda, so we'll have to post it.
But do we need to keep that into consideration when we align?
I
what we
would.
want to be on
think
as well?
Probably some things will come up in discussion in a little bit about how that subcommittee is gonna look too, so.
And can I just add one more thing
Yes.
to that, remember, two subcommittees, let alone 3 is a lot. It's a lot. And we are trying to scale back and really, have goals that are obtainable for 2025.
Mhm.
And with sister cities being at the end of the year and the multicultural in the spring, right there is a lot, let alone we want to wrap more electrical boxes. The Branch Arts Live was hugely
Are
successful.
we talking about the event that happened last year?
The Globe.
Yeah, that you went to.
Gateway to the Globe.
Yep,
Yes.
Gateway to the Globe. So, just keep that in mind, because you're in your busy season, Chris is in his
Mhm.
busy season,
Mhm.
Hillary and I are in our busy season, Perla, I think, is always busy. I'm sure David is nonstop with, theater, everyone is just have a lot going on. So just be mindful of that, just for yourself. I mean, we love that you're taking the time to volunteer and be part of this, and we love your input and everything that you offer. It's just,
I think the
Just-
bigger
yeah.
message is we need more help from community members.
Yeah, well, the multicultural one, the guy that was involved was part of the sustainability committee, and I bet we could still.
Well, we can talk about that when we get to that.
well, when we could talk about that next
In
month.
December.
So
Yes.
here's my suggestion, maybe it would be good to go through each of the ones that we had already discussed about those 5.
Yes,
And then after we discuss each of them, then we can vote on whether we can consolidate some of them instead of having 5, maybe see if we can.
I don't think we need to consolidate. I think she's talking about each individual not serving on more than 2.
Oh, okay.
Rather than having only 2 committees.
Gotcha.
I think we're talking about, some people put their name on every single committee. That's probably not feasible.
Yeah. I got you.
So
But I love the enthusiasm.
I do.
Yes.
too. So let me get us back on task. So again, I believe I need to entertain a motion
I will make a motion to approve the committees that we, how do I say this?
to establish.
Thank you,
Subcommittees.
the subcommittees.
subcommittees.
Thank you. I'm speaking.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
A second.
Second,
Thank you. All in favor? Aye.
I,
All opposed? The motion carries. Now we can go look at the names on those subcommittees. I think that's step number 1. So let's begin with artist outreach. I'm just going to very generously remove my name from that list.
Okay.
Since I've been on that committee since 2019. It's time to move on from that subcommittee. So now we're down to 3.
And if you also look at David's, what he turned in, so you can add his name to,
I actually don't want to be on that. committee.
okay, okay. So then we have
Chris and Rita.
Chris S. and Reed.
Oh, Rita definitely wants to be involved in
Yeah.
that one.
I mean, and I'll go back on that if we need it and we don't
Right.
need me somewhere else. I just,
Great.
I really wanted to give other people an opportunity.
So gracious of you.
So we'll leave a question mark there for me and let's move on. All art and cultural festivals.
Don't want to be on that.
So we have Dawn, Tad, Amy, Rita.
But you said you can only have 3, right?
So I guess I can remove myself from that one as well.
Well, I think that's a good one for you. I think
It's free charge live.
no, I think that's one you need
Yeah.
to stay on.
Because they're
Because they're not here
And
and I feel very uncomfortable removing them or because they
agree.
might,
Since we have a special session, you can also include
Yep.
the voting of who's going to be in the subcommittee.
So I think that's a great thing. Let's move that forward. So now that we've established these are the committees and we know that we can only have 2 to 3 on each committee, may I recommend between now and the next meeting, you go back and look at these, look at the goals again with the thought in mind of where you can best offer your gifts and talents.
Should we send that in or we can just talk about it at the next
I
meeting?
think we could talk about it because
Okay,
this is a draft and I have it saved and
okay.
I think though, can we go around and at least put a star next to, like, what do people know, the ones who turned in know exactly where they want to serve? David, you seem pretty,
I
sure.
want to serve on strategic plan. I'll serve anywhere, but I'm most interested in strategic.
Okay, so
Uh,
I want to add you to that.
and I think, yeah, Tad and Rita aren't there as well.
And to be fair, like Rita sent one in for everything, because I think she has a lot of ideas.
Yes.
I don't know if she necessarily wants to serve on every single one, but she had great ideas for
Yeah.
each one of them. So, to be fair to her and Tad and everyone, I'd like,
We need to ask them. Absolutely.
not
If you
make.
can pencil me in for art and culture and public spaces, that would be great.
Yep, I already put you in.
Yes, I wrote you down too.
Okay, thank you.
Is there anyone else that is just surely, truly passionate about one that,
You feel called towards Jennifer. Is there anything that you're,
You playing?
okay?
well, I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you.
Strategic planning.
I mean, I would really like to do the festival one, but there's like 85 names on it.
I could also do artist outreach if there's, because I'm Frenchie queen,
I love that.
You would also do the what one?
the
Artist outreach.
I'm interested in the strategic planning, but I'm also interested in the one we'll talk about next month. So.
Good.
well, can I ask a question? Can that not be part of the arts and culture festivals?
Yeah,
Is that not allowed?
Council's direction was its own subcommittee.
because they're gonna give money to it probably.
Correct. There's a funding source.
Mhm.
Okay, so it can't be.
It has to be some.
Mhm.
So, okay, so can I throw something else? Cause that's what I do. So can it be in the fall and then in the spring, this, boom, boom? Cause you have kind of the same kind of people that would,
The date is set.
right, so we have Branch Arts Live in the fall. In the called Arts and Culture Festivals. And then it switches January, whatever, and then, or right after Branch Arts Live. And then it goes to the multicultural. So you have the same kind of subcommittee because you're kind of dealing with the same.
Let me clarify. So I watched all this
Mhm.
and we can go into it later. Really, we're just looking to kind of offer support to the team that's already in place.
Okay,
It was recommended by council that we go back to the same people that served on the subcommittee before to serve on that subcommittee again.
got it. So why does it need to be one of our subcommittee?
Because city council asked that it be under our umbrella because it would take time if it's a separate, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it would take time if it were a separate committee. They would have to put out a call for members. They would have to vet those members. And that committee needs to take action almost immediately to have everything in place, particularly vendor contracts, entertainment, etc. And the most efficient way to get that committee reactivated, because there wasn't an ordinance for it, that committee had expired. So the most efficient way to get that activated again was to place it under art and culture. And then we can reach out to those subcommittee members and they can begin the process again. Does that clarify?
That helps a ton. Thank you.
Great. And did I?
But to your point, if we were talking about it's best to only serve on 2 committees, but that might be an exception if you were on the festivals and then you did that one
Because you're on.
because you know they're separate times of the year.
Mhm,
And also like the sister cities,
mhm.
it comes around
It does.
every several years, so that,
4 years, is it every 4 years?
yeah, they switch every couple of years. We go there, they come here.
Thank you for the clarification. Didn't mean to be rude.
To serve on these committees, is this just for the voting members or for anyone on the? Because I kind of,
Anybody in Farmers Branch? Really.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
excuse me?
Anybody in Farmers Branch, really?
Oh, okay,
Yes, you can serve.
okay. I'll wait for it to come around. I think I misunderstood when the email came out about signing up for stuff.
So do other people have strong feelings about, well, Chris, do you have strong feelings about any particular committee?
Oh, I think where I might have some efficacy would be adding live performances to existing events, since that's kind of what I do. And then I wouldn't be any help at all handling data. And they're too busy. So, yeah, just anything that I would be able to, add some value to.
Well, which committee?
I guess that
is
would be
calling
arts
to
and
you.
culture and public spaces. Goal number 1, add live performances to existing. Then there was another one about events to include Farmers Branch professional artists. And I can't find that. Where was that?
The artist outreach.
Oh, no, that one was also on the Arts and Culture Festival, goal 2.
Oh, yeah, create an event for local working artists to display their work. And I guess that would also be for performers, for actors and musicians, and dancers and stuff like that. So,
And these are just like the goals that
These are
are
suggested.
suggested.
Suggestions.
They're not necessarily what we'll officially go with. We'll decide that once we're on our committee. So, so I don't know that you want to cherry pick individual goals. You may want to look at the goals as a whole and say which one you would align with.
can I sort of like,
Yes, you have time.
Yeah,
Yes.
time.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
We're looking at placing people. So this is artist outreach, and then these are some of the suggestions that
That's
members
true.
submitted.
So then we have three.
And then this is.
Well, but we're going to have to, not necessarily, we're going,
It's
again,
all up for discussion.
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
This was people that felt that they might be interested in that committee, but now that we've kind of clarified some other projects that are coming
Mhm.
under our umbrella, we will probably make other decisions on who will serve on which committees. So all of this is available for discussion.
Okay, thank you.
And these are ideas of individuals that sent information to me regarding committees, and it's up to the committee to decide what they feel are their top 2 or 3 goals that are obtainable for the coming year. So we at least established the subcommittee, so that's
We did.
exciting.
We did.
So I think that's a good thing.
And we have it as an agenda item for the next meeting to
We do.
finalize the numbers, right?
Volunteers, true.
Yes, that will go on that agenda. All right, we can move forward to receive a report on the annual presentation to City Council as it relates to the Art and Culture Committee.
Yeah. Okay, read your slides.
Okay, so actually, I don't know if we need to go through every single detail that we did because it's on video and you can watch it. You can watch it as it happened. But we did go over, again, the mission and the vision, as well as meetings and participation, just so they knew kind of what our attendance rate was. Then we did kind of some of our greatest highlights, where we talked about the West Side Art Trail art pieces, as well as the sign toppers and the wayfinding for the Arts and Culture District. And of course, the electrical boxes. And now would be a moment for me to bring up that the mayor in particular would like to see us have contests that are more specific to the location in which the electrical box is located. For example, around Brookhaven, he mentioned that we might consider having pickleball themed electrical box wraps, or if we are in an area that's more sports related, that we could have electrical box wraps with basketball themes or baseball themes. He recommended we just look at the environment and then theme the wraps to that environment, which I believe is something we had been discussing in previous meetings. So I was glad to hear that we were all thinking alike along those lines.
I agree, and I love the idea that we discussed that we wanted to pick the locations first. So then when we do a call for the contest, we can say, this is the theme for that particular box. So it lined up beautifully.
Yes,
And I have a question
Yes.
about that.
yes.
It seems like, which I like the idea a lot. It seems like it would be helpful if staff, whatever part of staff that is, they know the city maybe better than the citizens do in some instances, not Brookhaven, but if they know what the themes are for the different parts of the city. So rather than letting us 9 people or the whole city try to come up with themes, I mean, some are obvious, like Brookhaven. But you could go golf instead of pickleball at Brookhaven, for example.
Yeah.
It seems like if staff would, and we know where all the boxes are. So we've got 2 data points. It seems like you could match those 2 data points and say, okay, these are the top 25 boxes, in the best locations. And then this is what those areas represent, adjectives that describe those things that comes back to us. We don't have to agree with it, but at least we've got a starting point rather than putting this on our list for a goal and not really coming to any conclusion,
I think
That-
that's
that-
very
That
efficient.
feels like to me, if staff can staff do that?
Yes, what I would suggest because of the mayor's direction is I would suggest you guys select which boxes, the city then can go to study session with a price tag, because I'm gonna ask for a
Yes.
budget adjustment on this.
There
And
we
then
go.
council can make the recommendation, so that's,
Okay,
we can do it that way.
Great.
so maybe if we put that agenda item on the next agenda, the map of all the boxes. Because not all the committees had the chance to look at that before, then everyone could be exposed to that. We could pick the ones, you know, top 5 or 10 or whatever, give that, and then she can go and ask for the budget. I think that's a great idea.
Can I have clarification? Does our committee select the location or does do staff select the appropriate boxes?
I was under the impression that the Arts and Culture Board made the suggestion.
I think
Sorry, suggestion.
Right,
yes.
yeah,
We did
ultimately,
last time.
council would make the final recommendation, but the board can make the suggestion.
Okay,
And we can suggest whichever ones.
Yeah, you also emailed me the locations of the next 6 that are slated to be
Yes.
constructed, which can be shared.
okay, thank you.
that are being switched out.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's a ongoing over the several years. Yeah.
Thank you, David. I think that'll be helpful.
And that would fall under contests, so depending on where, if that's contests, art in public spaces, or where that falls at that point. Okay,
Perla, could you find out maybe for us? If there's an idea of a budget, you know, it's a $25,000, I mean, how many?
I can definitely, but there is no budget, so it's going to council and saying mid-year budget adjustment is the best time, so which would be in January, where we see where our revenues fluctuate. At that given point in time, that could give us a better idea of how many boxes we could do.
I'm just trying to figure out how many, like, do we need?
I say
like-
go big, go 6.
well, and they're about $1,000, a little over $1,000 a piece. You're right,
So
so-
all 6, and it's, again, here's the suggestion,
Yeah.
and then council would say all 6, or we're doing 2.
So 6 is a lot. Is,
Go big.
okay.
I think we can suggest 10 and make them cut it to 6.
There you
I like that idea,
And
yeah,
then we've got the next 4 already. you know,
Yeah,
for-
later.
yeah.
And like we said, it makes an impact, and one of the council members last night reiterated that to Amy and said that he does like seeing them when he drives by,
Yeah.
so that's encouraging.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I do too.
Mhm.
All right, then we talked about, obviously, about Branch Arts Live and our CFB ISD collaboration, as well as the artist exchange, artist database, the inventory of the city-owned artwork, and the interactive arts and culture map. And council particularly was interested in all of that as well.
And just making sure that it was easy access for the public to be able to find it on our website.
And I
as we
believe,
do.
yes, I
The
believe.
database and the map are online.
Yeah,
Yeah. okay.
they are, and they're very functional because I'm not tech savvy and I was able to locate exactly what I needed about one particular sculpture when I was reviewing
Oh,
something. So
cool.
if I can do it,
Right,
They
It's-
did mention wanting to make sure it was integrated with the.
Discover Farmers brand.
Yeah.
Yes,
Which,
that is correct.
yeah, I think they definitely are.
They are, because that's how I went through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so mission accomplished. Okay, then we talked about the future of the Arts and Culture Committee. Our goals to establish a city-owned artwork and museum artifact collection maintenance fund, catalog of artwork available to purchase, and future electrical box wrapping contest. So those are just some of our goals that we mentioned, because obviously we're meeting tonight. And then when we asked for direction from council, they did mention the electrical box wraps, number 1, and number 2, they said they would get back to us with more direction. And then later, of course, in council, that's when the global multicultural event came up as well. So
Okay.
that was more guidance.
And Amy did a fantastic job,
yes,
so thank you, Amy, for doing that. We appreciate it. You were beautifully representing the Arts and Culture Committee and we appreciate you.
Hey, Amy, one more question.
Yes, sir.
Back to the goals, Hillary.
Mhm.
There was 3 goals there. Can we make sure that 3 things are on the list for the next meeting, since they need to fit into the subcommittees, I think, right?
They're on there except for one. So the city-owned, are you talking about establish a city-owned artwork and museum
Yeah.
artifact collection maintenance fund?
Yeah.
That's not on there. We need to
Yeah.
add that, and my best guess is that goes under art and culture and public spaces.
Or artist outreach. Could go, oh.
Well, artist outreach is a little bit more connecting.
Understanding. I'm thinking artist outreach is also just the compilation and the organization of that list. That's what I'm thinking.
Yes, correct. So yes, that does need to be added. I'm gonna star that. But the other 2 are
Already
on,
there.
they're already placed, so.
And that was in in my 2024 notes. I believe it was on Natalie's and Don Hodges' goal for 2024 to establish that.
I don't want to get us too off track, but catalog of artwork available to purchase,
For the city to purchase.
right? Understood. And what's can you give me a little bit more definition of that?
We
Like
will,
it would be, what are the criteria, or it would be,
And we started that.
we've started that, so. It has happened in the past. Now, things change, obviously, as budgets
Mhm.
change and so forth. But we have in the past been asked for suggestions for an art piece at a
Mhm.
location for the city to purchase, or a fountain.
Mhm.
And so we began the process of going ahead and putting together a catalog, so we were more prepared, more proactive rather than reactive when council came to us with a request.
gotcha.
And whether it was buying it off the shelf or having an artist that would create it
A
for us.
commission, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
gotcha.
So it was both artists and pieces. And we included in there functional art pieces as well, such as an artistic bench to be added to a park or a public space.
Mhm.
And is it limited to artists who live or work in Farmers
No,
Branch?
it is
Okay.
absolutely not.
Okay, interesting, all right.
Yes.
And going back to 2024, one of the plan of work that was arts and public spaces, which was Natalie and Dawn at the time. Their suggestions were their goals were restoration and conservation plans for art, and create a budget for restoration, conservation, and new art
Mhm.
acquisitions. So that's just a new way that we wrote it, but it reworded it, but it has been established
Gotcha,
as a goal under that.
thanks for clarifying.
If there are no other comments, I believe we're ready to move forward. Receive subcommittee updates and take appropriate action. Artist outreach, no change. Art and public spaces. Do we have any updates on West Side Art Trail?
We're still deciding on the locations. Carla, can you?
Yeah, we're not only the locations, but also the funding source. We've been meeting with Parks and Rec as far as the concrete and the easement, so
Great,
to be determined.
excellent, in process. All right, we've sunset grant making and funding. So we're moving forward to festivals and contests.
All righty, well, we think it was a excellent event. It went really well. The pieces that were performed were phenomenal. We loved seeing them. Great community involvement, great committee involvement. It was really
Yeah.
nice to see a lot of y'all out there supporting and being a part of the event. So I would really love to kind of hear from y'all that went to it and get your thoughts on it from an outside perspective. And thank you for being there.
I thought Bright Stars Live was so cool. Like I was texting people like, y'all should come check it out. It's free. It's just around the corner. But I mean, it was a cool experience to see, first of all, the age range from like elementary school all the way up to like senior citizens. And to see the talent involved in the school, in the public education system was really inspiring. There were also private studios and stuff like that that were involved as well. And I don't think if anything, that kind of event just opens up people culturally to different styles and genres and, you know, experiences that you can send them down paths to future interests.
Really nice event, great performances, good turnout. The performers and the audience were both really enthusiastic. So given, I think a lot of the audience was family members, but definitely a worthwhile event. The people who participated got a lot out of it. I was really impressed with especially some of the high school performances from Union Smith and Creekview. So very nice event, definitely worth continuing. So I hope we can figure out how to do that.
We hope so too.
I think the only complaint that I heard was just the stage issue, which you were aware of as soon as you got up there.
Right. I did get somebody that reached out from one of the studios, and because I did ask for any kind of feedback from them, because that's how we grow. And they did say how the slope of the stage, and they
Went the opposite direction you would expect.
that it's,
So in theater, it's usually
I think for
That's right.
ballet,
to down towards
Yeah.
the audience, but it was
Thank-
away from the
I think
audience.
ballet, it was a little challenging, and they probably would have preferred to maybe space ahead of time so they could have made adjustments because of the stage. But other than that, I mean, obviously very positive feedback, and it was great to have the photographers there. They captured some great
Beautiful,
pictures.
yeah.
So overall, I mean, it was a great event. We're very appreciative of everybody that helped and did all the things. And so thank you for making it what it was.
Well, and we appreciate you and Amy for putting so much time and effort into it. So thank you all so much. And do you want to tell them how many groups and how many people attended?
700 plus attendees, 46, 48.
43, I think, 43 pizzas, and it was 28 last year. So we, it just,
Yeah.
basically, I mean, it really grew in a year's time, which was nice. And a lot of people mention it a lot. I mean, as even today, I had, Vivian Field was performing at another event, and that they talk about performing this year already at Branch Arts Live. It's something that is part of, the community, and they enjoy it. So
And the way that Dawn had the list set up of the performers, I took it and made it like a little brochure where I found all their Facebook, social media
Really
websites
awesome.
and added links. So like.
And the
I walked
QR
around with
code?
The QR code,
Yes.
so it was paper free, which was even better. And people just pulled up their phone, pulled it up, and then were able to like search through it.
it was nice to see the growth. I mean, those things that we didn't have the first year, and then, with having another committee member, it was really, really helpful to be able to go, hey, can you do this? And you did so awesome. You went even over and beyond. So it was really great.
And with all those acts, everybody went on right on schedule within a few minutes. Yeah.
We run a tight show.
We did.
Yeah.
And
It was
a
good.
cheap show.
It was good.
We didn't spend money.
Is there an issue with that for this next fall?
Yeah.
Yes.
For
Yeah,
funding, because of Women Bluegrass.
Right.
So it's going to be figuring out a stage. It's gonna be our biggest hiccup, I guess, is the best way to put that.
Because we brought in our own sound system, so
Is the
There was-
Crow still functional?
It is not big enough it would be too dangerous for the performers for that space.
But when Amy asked for council direction, they did ask for this, so when we go for the the electrical, we can also say that possible funding is needed for this as well. Okay, council gave direction on
Is
it.
there could staff give a idea of what that amount is?
Stage, I can find out.
Okay. That's what I was thinking. As long as you're asking for money, ask for it all, because it takes
That's what council,
time. It's in mid-year, it's all that stuff. And if we miss it, then we could be
It's really for us
missing
that,
out on an event that was really good that I think everyone wants to do
Right.
again.
Well, because our goal was to grow it, obviously, and include,
and every year it's just a little
Right.
bit bigger, you know, which is nice. This way it's always manageable and you don't bite off more than you can chew, and you can make it, you know, each year just a little something extra.
as
And add a
David's saying.
food truck here and there.
Right?
Yeah, well, as David's saying, is the stage all you need if you're gonna go to council?
There's the
Get it.
stage and the steps leading up to the stage would be needed, but besides that,
Red
canopy.
Bulls for.
I don't know that we
police
have to,
or
but I think the
emergency Purposes.
We're working on a special event ordinance, so
uh,
to be determined.
Yeah, and if we want to involve any kind of food and stuff like that too.
I was gonna bring that up. That was the one comment or feedback I got from passersby there is food refreshment. So it seems like there's an opportunity to have a food truck or.
yes, we were.
Brianna tried very hard on it. Yes.
So, earlier planning is basically what every single food truck told me. They were like, put us on the calendar for next year. We could be there next year.
Gotcha. Well, now you know.
Yes, we do. Now we know.
We also did have a canopy above the stage, which probably is very helpful for the dancers because we've had 2 beautiful years of sun, knock on wood. So just to keep a little bit of shade on the
It was
floor,
pendant,
just
yeah.
so it's not burning hot for the feet, you know, yes, the feet.
So
That
stage,
goes back
stairs,
to stage,
canopy.
stairs, and that would go back to, I guess, a list of what is needed, so I don't want, cause it would be rough to go to council and be like, I need a stage, just kidding, I need.
Right,
Yes,
right.
so
So
kidding,
that
I
you
need-
do-
So just
Yeah.
going and just one lump sum, and it doesn't mean we have to always go at mid-year, we can go at any given point in time, but as long as we know exactly to solidify it. I just wanna go to council once.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
You may have already talked about this, but there's a stage right over here at the park next to the city hall. And a big, long area. It seems like they could
There is,
build a permanent, build some kind of a permanent thing like they do at car dealers that have those big canopies, you know.
so part of it, so I have used that stage before for an outdoor theater performance. Part of the issue there for dancing, it's concrete.
Right, you can buy the,
No, we put the Marley over it. The problem is dancers jumping on concrete, it's damaging to the joints.
right, and I thought you could buy a type of dance floor that's
It,
cushioned.
it's about $58,000.
Yeah, they need to keep.
Yeah, but you
And
just
permanent.
buy it one time, you'd never have to rent it again. I mean, I don't know what the money situation is like, but things like that can end up saving you tens of thousands of
That's-
dollars if you're using an existing structure and then just buy what you need to make it work.
I can definitely go back out there and look at that again.
And
I remember-
I can look at that spec.
Space.
Are the flexible dance floors, are they appropriate? I mean, I know they make them because.
I'm
I
just
used to work at
concerned
the
about
arts.
anything on top of concrete. It's just so hard on the knees. And then the other thing is the columns take up quite a bit of the actual floor space. So you have less space to work on. I'll go back and look at it again.
Yeah, I just,
I'll go back and
if
walk
there's
it.
an existing space with, parking and you'd have all the kids at the park go, hey, what's going on there? But I do remember renting, a dance floor that was designed to be put on top of concrete when I was with the Irving Arts Board. So,
Okay.
they exist. I don't know. Maybe they're not very good.
Yeah.
I'll look.
But anyway, just,
Yeah.
it's a lovely space, with the pond there and it's got good parking
It is.
and they could store the dance floor nearby.
We'll definitely check into it.
Anyway. it's just a
Yeah.
thought.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Appreciate that.
It would also make a nice place for a classical guitar concert too.
It would.
If it-
We need to go back and double check the sound ordinance. At the time I was there, that was an issue. You couldn't pipe in music at all.
And
But that could have changed. Again, that was maybe 2020.
it doesn't have electricity. You would need to get the city to run a box. I'm pretty sure it does not have electricity. Because I've been to things where they put a cord across the lawn.
So,
That's really dangerous.
so the event that we just had zero budget. We spent $0. So to go from $0 to asking a lot is I think we have to grow to that.
Okay. But I mean, it wouldn't be for that event. It would be a permanent asset of the city to have a performance space, an outdoor performance space there that would be appropriate for dance, music, theater, whatever. And, you know, it wouldn't be, you wouldn't be asking money for your event.
Right.
We would just see it, you know.
Right.
And
Is the space on the ground level or is it raised?
It's raised.
It's about a foot and a
a
half
little bit.
to 3 feet, kind of, there's a little bit of slope.
You know, as long as people,
I think from the sidewalk side.
if you limited chairs to the
Mhm.
outer part and then everybody else could use blankets, you could have, you know, it could be nice. I've been to lots of events that are just on the first sidewalk. They'll encourage people not to put chairs near the stage. I'll say,
Right.
if you have a chair, please put it back there. This is for blankets.
Sure.
But, I don't know if it's appropriate for us to ask the city to do that. Is that one of the things they don't want us to do?
You can ask as far as, a suggestion, but if you're gonna make it a permanent structure, that's where it would become a maintenance issue as well. Cause it's not just a one-time expense, now it's an ongoing maintenance.
Yeah, because even that canopy, like with some of the straight line ones that we have, you're gonna have to structurally engineer that.
Eventually replace it and
Sure.
dance floor
Yeah,
and
so I
same
think
with the
that's,
electrical
yeah.
stuff.
The dance floor would
Yeah.
have to be stored
Sorry.
somewhere.
I'm really not the very bad news.
Those features are important.
Right,
They're
It would have to be a
and they kind of snap together.
Yes, it would.
right.
They're, I think they're safe. I was told they're safe, so.
If we were presenting to do the event again at Historical Park like we just did, and we were including food trucks, do we need to include a budget item for power for the food trucks, or is there already
There's already
like?
power there.
Okay, gotcha, all right,
If you're planning here, then there's already.
right, right.
But again, as the special event ordinance does come into play, then that's where, police, fire, medical. All that would also, so who would upfront the cost as well, the city gonna pay for that, because usually in a, larger event, sponsorship in the.
I think
Because previously we were falling under the bluegrass
Correct.
costs, right, gotcha, yeah.
might
Teaming.
also be prudent once the Branch Connection reopens to look at that. I know the stage isn't big enough, but if you extended the stage, certainly it holds 500 people. So if
Yes.
it's hold close to the number you want. It is indoor instead of outdoor, but it is using an existing facility that they just spent $4 million to remodel or whatever the number was, that would make them probably happy if we figured out, or at least we looked at it and you said, here's the reasons why it won't work.
I think all these are really good options that we need to look at and review and make sure we have all the information we need.
Thank you for those suggestions.
I guess it'd be hard to piggyback on the pickleball thing, cause.
I'm open to
Look,
anything.
we're open to anything. Midday entertainment.
Just tell Brookhaven we're gonna have 700 people show up the next day.
All right, let's move on to receive an update on arts and culture and City of Farmers Branch current projects, events, and upcoming activities.
And I'll speak on that. So this, we added last month as, if you go to the memo, And these are just, like we talked about, not necessarily, adding more to our plate, but being part of some of the activities that are already taking place within the city of Farmers Branch. And this is a calendar of events for November 10th through December 30th. We just had, a photo shoot out here. Rosa does it every year. It was sold out. People come and take their photos, family. We had Victorian Fencing Society on Sunday, which was a come and go event. I hosted a Girl Scout workshop and then they went in and they were able to earn a fencing patch and watch the fencing. And that was a come and go event. Veterans Day at the Recreation Center. Perla, did you attend that?
Veterans Day, no, I was Kansas.
Okay, so I'm sure it was great. I've been to many of them. Yeah, and so you get a giant hot dog, lots of fun. You honor the veterans. It's always very moving and fantastic. Our Mad Hatter tea goes on sale December 2nd. This year we are moving it from the Dotson House to the new venue 1842. We usually do 2 seatings of that, which always sell out. This year we're doing 1 seating and it will allow for the same amount, if not, I think quite a few more. So that's a great Christmas gift if anyone's thinking about that. We have our summer camps also going on sale. We do a 2-week art camp, and then we have our Girls Make History, which is a state award winning camp that we have in July. It's called, and then with our Christmas teas, which have been sold out since the beginning of September. We do.
Oh, I missed it again.
We do 4 seatings over 2 weekends, and that's quite fun. I think going on about 30 years, maybe 30 years plus that they've been doing that. And I always work them, so those are a lot of fun. The Christmas exhibit tour, if you want to talk about that, Hillary, on what the theme is this Christmas. And
oh, we're doing, so the Queen Anne will be decorated with, it's gonna be under a celebration of Christmas, Alice's Adventures in a Winter Wonderland. So we're taking the Alice in Wonderland theme and doing a Christmas spin on it. So there will be, each room of the house is a different vignette telling a different part of a different chapter of, Alice Adventures in Wonderland. And there'll be, kind of lush and whimsical over the top Christmas decorations. So that'll be a lot of fun. We have Friday and Saturday tours, the Friday evening tours, so they are evening, so they're lantern led. And then there'll be Saturday afternoon. So they're during the Christmas teas in between the 2 seatings, there will be a tour then, and then also December 21st, as well as the Friday night ones, December 13th and 20th at 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. And we recommend pre-registration because those do sell out. When we have this Saturday, December 7th, which will have Christmas teas in the morning and afternoon. And then that night is special events, Christmas Carnival, which will be out here, which is the big city Christmas celebration. They were just installing the tree today. So that's really exciting. That will be a huge event and everything will be decorated. You came out last year. I think it's going to be similar, be a drone show, a silent disco, musical performances, and be a really, really good time. So if you're available, please come out. It's family friendly, free out here from 5 to 9 on Saturday, December 7th. And there's a bunch of fun activities coming up. As Bonnie mentioned, the Mad Hatter Tea is going to be a lot of fun. Tickets go on sale, she said December 2nd, but the event is not until Saturday, March 1st. So, but it does sell out. So get those early.
Great.
Can I add one quick comment?
Sure.
On the Christmas carnival last year, my mom and I walked around the city like a few miles or whatever, and before and after the event, and there's a lot of trash around the historical park. So Hoya, they had to like haul in some big blue bins to address some of the trash issues that spilled over onto the the park area, and maybe those blue bins can be set out on the outside of the fence, so that people that come in from the community can like hopefully dispose of things that they haven't disposed of before they walk to their car.
All right, I'll let special events know. I know that they did hire a custodial crew to come in and clean during and pick up trash, and we empty all the trash cans and everything, but I'll make sure to pass that along so that there's plenty of trash cans, so we don't have that. That is once it's all said and done, if it's out here at the historical park, we get to clean it all up. So that's a good suggestion. I'll make sure that is.
Wonderful. All right, do we have any agenda items that we need to add? Well, we've got our special meeting.
So do we need to come up with a date, I guess?
Yeah, I'm gonna see who's all gonna be there, but I'm wondering if it would be better email since we have two individuals.
Yes. We should do that by email. Do not reply all.
And you've already reached out to the guy from sustainability for the multicultural event.
Not until this subcommittee's created, and then we'll move forward.
Oh, speaking of which, the sustainability committee now seems to be meeting kind of at the same time as our meeting, and so I'm not able to attend that one. Otherwise, I would offer to reach out to that guy.
I'll reach out once this is subcommittees
Yes.
formed. Technically, it's not formed yet, it's a recommendation. So once it's formed, I'll reach out.
So then I will contact everyone, once Perla and Hillary and I speak about what, date works for everyone, and then we'll reach out and, I will via email and, we'll, come up with a date to meet and establish the subcommittee. From there.
That sounds great. Are there any things that we want to put on our January agenda?
Electric boxes.
Great.
Electrical boxes as far as, establishing the contest or location.
Identifying 100 locations and ranking them.
You need to keep adding more zeros.
Ranking them.
I think we can discuss locations, but with also adding the, March festival.
With the electrical boxes that aren't going to have them. Is that like an auto wrap type of a thing is what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Same thing they put in cars.
Mhm.
For the ones that aren't going to have that, what are they gonna do? Are they gonna put just the FB logo or?
They're just mental.
That will just be
It seems
ugly.
like they could come up with some, I'm sorry.
Then they'll just be ugly.
They'll just- No, but it just seems like, some of them used to have the city logo on them.
Well, I think our hopes is that we can continue to do
Yeah.
that over
Yeah,
time,
and
so
they could
therefore.
put something inexpensive on the, like, really inexpensive, paint them. With the logo or something, and then as we add boxes and cover that, but it seems like it would be nice to have the city's logo.
And
Little
do like
tree
a
thing.
generic 2 foot by 2 foot that they can slap on them. Unless they're slated to be
It's just,
updated,
what?
unless they're slated to be updated, do that like generic sticker.
I mean, it's a cute logo. I like seeing it.
Mhm.
If it's inexpensive, it'd be something nice to do until we wrap them.
And they're addressing the fact that the trees have significantly reduced in the city after the storms that we had. And they'll be creating a budget to replace them.
That's good to know.
Are there any other agenda items to be added? For January? I know.
This might not be an agenda item, and I haven't met everyone. Hi, I'm Megan, I'm economic development manager, so I came with Perla. But I saw that you guys went to George Mendoza at Envision Dallas. Are you familiar with Envision, the new business and for the blind and visually impaired? I spoke with them at the pickleball tournament, and they wanted to get in contact with this committee specifically about putting, and I don't know if this was already communicated,
about putting art, or they have an art studio for blind and visually impaired people in their facility and wanting to offer some art to go in buildings or hang in buildings or anything.
Wonderful.
So, just kind of a fun tour to go over there and see their art studio. Because it's amazing that these people can, you know, are painting things while being blind. It's amazing. But just something I wanted to throw out there.
I'm
And
gonna,
how do you do that? How do you, is it open to just go walk in, or do you call in advance and set up a
Call in
meeting?
advance, but
Yeah.
I have some specific that I can also connect you with, because I know
Mhm.
she really wanted to talk to you.
I'm gonna recommend that go under art and culture and public spaces. Does that seem like inappropriate?
Mhm.
So that committee directly can,
I think you even mentioned something about it being on the Smithsonian, something.
Yeah, he has an art in Smithsonian. Just keep in mind, if there's more than 3 individuals that go at the same time, quorum, all that fun stuff.
Oh, yeah.
For yourself. Go alone.
Staggered every 30 minutes.
And Megan, if you can pass me on this contact, I'll at least reach out and see if we can, Hillary and I can meet and at least go from there, at least get more information.
thank you for
Thank you so
sharing.
much.
Yes. Any other items?
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. We are adjourned. We are still recording though, so
At what time?
at 7:06.
Good job.
Oh, yeah.
Good evening.
You too.
You're welcome.